To stop corruption. It's runaway in this country. I mean, it is ridiculous. Every day another scandal, and it's creating a population of people who are so skeptical of this government. Your thoughts, Josh? Is the war on corruption being won?
I mean, we have to continue fighting on it. I think it's important today that we're putting a lot of effort, and I don't think we have seen that in a lot of since our beginning as a country. So today, what the focus should be, and what we haven't seen more, is on the private sector, Jeff. Because ultimately, there's always what I say, a giver, and there's always a taker. Yeah. And you need to be able to deal with the issues. And until today, we haven't seen a challenge or a prosecution or a case against private sector individuals. And that's where we need to focus on, in my view. Today there's more progress, but I think if you connect the ports, all of them together, we'll see progress, and we have to fight for it. Because you take away every single opportunity for a young person just because of few individuals. And you were saying earlier on that this man here is the man who put together the bill for the private sector. For the private sector.
Well, there were a bunch of us. There's a bunch of the guy who actually wrote it was Mohammed Yoga. But a bunch of business leaders got together, there's about 10 of us, and we discovered that there was no law against private sector corruption, strangely enough. And we said, well, sure, we can fix that. And I called Mohammed and I said, Mohammed, you know, can you do this thing pro bono? Mohammed said, sure. And it took him 2 weeks to write it. He consulted in East Africa, consulted with Europe, and we finally produced the Bribery Act, which was passed into law 13th of January, about 3 years ago. Until now, there's no private sector person who's been convicted. And so Joshua's right. I mean, you asked the question, are we winning the war? I think we're winning some of the battles. And, you know, is scandals getting worse? Well, I think we're just getting more visibility of them. It's always been there, you know, whether it's been, you know, the old Goldenberg stuff, you know, whatever it is, it's been there. And so I think that the government is actually, and the president is making some, you know, rather making some inroads in this space, but the private sector not stepping up. Not a single private sector bribery conviction. How could that be? Are you telling me the private sector not bribing? Of course they are. I'm firing 50 people a year. He is firing 40 people a year for corruption, and we're taking them to court. So, you know, where are the CEOs, where are the CFOs in court? I mean, we're not seeing them. Yeah. Josh, if I was to ask you what do you think of the DPP and the DCI and the work they're doing? Your thoughts?
I think that we salute a lot of work. And, you know, for the banks, we already have matters that they are looking at today, you know, for a number of the large banks. But ultimately, I say that there's value, what I call longevity. How do you, or this is more like a continuum. You're going to start some progress, and Jeff, you deal with the youngsters today. Because remember, at the end of the day, changing this may take much longer. So how do the young people today who are, let's say, joining school, how do they see the profile of their country? How do they understand about protecting and building together for the future, for the next generation? And that's what we need to put our effort on. So they're doing a fantastic job today. A tough one, I must say, but those battles must be built by individuals who are formidable enough to run the race, and that's the race that we support.
Yeah. Bob, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, these are very courageous gentlemen. You know, this is not an easy thing. We've seen their predecessors. They're courageous, and I think we just have to support them. I mean, you know, I see bricks being thrown at them and criticisms being thrown. Nobody's perfect. But the final hurdle we have to jump is, of course, the judiciary. Yeah. Because you can bring as many people to court, but if the judges don't convict, then what's the point? So, you know, I think we just need to see that fixed.
Could you ask Monica if we can go for a break?
Monica, can we go for a break?